At one time, Drew Brown was the only black attack United States Navy jet pilot in the fleet. Born in Harlem, New York, he escaped poverty, drugs, and violence through education and the belief of himself. Drew Brown is now on a mission to take away your excuses and put you on the right road to the American dream. You are about to witness what millions have seen and heard, challenging them to pursue their dreams and find success and happiness. This video just might change your life.
You know, you got punks walking around the streets of America. You got punk gangs walking around here called Bloods, called Crips. You got punks walking around the streets of America called the Ku Klux Klan. You got these punks walking around here called skinheads, and they walk around our streets saying that they're bad. Mike Tyson, who used to be heavyweight champion of the world, says that he's bad. My boy Michael Jackson has the audacity to say that he's bad. Well, guess what? They're not bad. I'm bad. And I'm bad because I can fly 550 miles an hour, 50 feet from the ground, and carry 28 500-pound bombs under my wings. I have the expertise, the technology, and the know-how, not to just come take out this theater, but to take out the entire neighborhood. And baby, that's bad. And you see, if them punk gangs ever come bothering me, them sissies ever come bothering me with their 357s, their 44 Magnums, their shotguns, or even their colors. If them punks ever come bothering me, I'm in a gang too. I'm in a gang called the United States Navy, and if they bother me enough, I could just go get my boys. But you want to know what makes me bad? Do you want to know what makes me bad? The only thing that makes me bad is I have a college education. That's what makes me bad. You see, I'm going to be your worst nightmare today. I'm going to be your conscience. Either you're going to listen to me now or you're going to listen to me later. But I promise you one thing in life. Every single one of you sitting in here is going to listen to me. You see, everybody in this room, white, black, fat, skinny, tall, short, old, and young. All of you in this room wake up for one reason and one reason only. That's why some of y'all pump so much Jerry curl juice in your heads, it drips all over the place. That's why some of you girls in here have 16 earrings in your ears. You have so many holes in your head that when the wind blows, it sounds like you whistling Dixie. Or you got guys walking around here, little rat tails. Y'all ever seen them little rat tails? People walking around here, little rat tails. Looking like a bunch of hamsters should be calling you the Pet Shop Boys. But my favorite one out of them all is that new hairstyle called the new high top fade. Y'all ever seen a high top fade? You know them brothers walking around here looking like they got Wheaties boxes on the top of their heads. But that's why you wear your hair like that. And that's why you put on your perfume and your nail polish and you wear your nice clothes. Because everybody in here wakes up for one reason and one reason only. Everybody in here wakes up just to be happy and have fun. And you see, that's what life is all about, being happy and having fun. But you see, since I went to college, My level of fun is up here. When I party in Paris. When I jam in Jamaica. I do the Cabbage Patch in Monte Carlo. So if you think them punk gangs are bad, if you think them sissy drug dealers are bad, if you really think them punks are bad, check it out. You can't touch this. Playtime is over. Playtime is over. If you don't plan on going to college and getting a 4-year degree, you listen closely. If you do not plan on going to college and getting a 4-year college degree, if you do not plan on going to some university and getting a 4-year college degree, you need to get up now and get out of high school today. Because McDonald's needs you. I'm sorry I have to say it like that. If you don't plan on going to college, these are the 1990s. You're going to be a bum. Accept it now. How do you think they kept black people down 200 years ago? How do you think they kept us down 200 years ago? You think it was with whips or with chains or with picking cotton? No. They kept an entire nation of people slaves just because they wouldn't let us read. They kept the whole nation of people slaves who used to be kings and queens slaves just because they wouldn't let us read. But on the other hand, every time you watch Dallas Dynasty or Falcon Crest, or you go to the governor's house, or you go to the president of a large corporation's house, how come every time you go to their house and ring the doorbell, ding dong, somebody always comes to the door and says they'll meet you in the library? How come everybody in this country who has something has a library, yet they could keep a whole nation of people slaves just because they wouldn't let us read? You better wake up and get to this. If you don't learn how to read and further your education, you're going to be a slave in this country. But on the other hand, if you learn how to read and further your education, you can be anything you want. You see, some of y'all are just too bad to listen to me. Some of y'all are just too cool to listen to me, and that's okay. You see, that's what makes the world go round. Because back home, I got a big, long black Cadillac. And when I drive up to that drive-through window and hit my electric window, boop, and stick my hand out, I'm going to need some of y'all to hand me an order of large fries. So see, you got two choices in life. Either you start busting your butt now in high school and bust your butt in college and maybe be like me and slide for the rest of your life, or you just go ahead and slide now and you'll work forever. You're going to work. See, you got two ways of working. Either you can work for $3.80 an hour with the decimal point after the 3, or you could go to college and maybe one day work for $3.80 an hour with the decimal point after the 0. It's up to you. But you know something funny? Some of you in here had this little excuse. I'd like to go to college, but I just can't afford it. I would just love to go to college, but I just can't afford it. Well, don't you dare lie to me, and don't you dare lie to yourself. If you can't afford to go to college, you better start busting your butt now in high school and get a 3.8, 3.9, or 4.0 grade point average. And these teachers that line the room in here will make sure you go to any college in this country for free. It's called a scholarship. You see, if you can't get a 3.9 or 4.0 grade point average, then you go work at McDonald's and you send your own little butt to college. Or you join the Army, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, or Marines. They'll send you to college, or you get a loan, or you get a grant. You see, I don't care what you do. You take your butt to college, because I'm your worst nightmare. Either you're going to listen to me now, or you're going to listen to me later. You see, all of you sitting in here live by a certain theory. All of you in here live by a certain theory right now. You know what it's called? The Drew Brown Circle Theory of Life. All of you live by it. Every single thing you do, no matter how small, no matter how large, everything you do in life is coming back to you. You steal a quarter from this girl over here, next week you're going to look for the dollar your mother gave you. What happened to that dollar? Bloop. The universe is taking it. You disrespect your friends in here because you think you're so bad. You ever disrespect your friends? Keep disrespecting them here. Because one day you won't have any friends. And the worst thing in the world to be is lonely. if you ever disrespect your parents or the people that are bringing you up, and they don't have to be your biological parents, if you ever disrespect the people that are loving you and are doing the best they can for you, keep disrespecting them here, because 99% of you in here are going to have children one day. And if you disrespected your parents, when your kids grow up, they're going to wear your little tails out. But you know what the biggest one of them all is? You know what the biggest one of them all is? If you ever have the audacity to disrespect these teachers, these counselors, the bus drivers, the coaches, the secretaries, or even the people that sweep the floors in your school, you ever disrespect one of these people, your life is over. You know why? Because the teachers in our country are God's gift to this country, and if you ever disrespect the gift from God, it's a sin, and you're going to pay for that sin. I park 5 spots away from a handicapped parking spot. 5 spots away. Because if you think you're so bad and you're so cool, you ever pull up in one of those handicapped parking spots, keep doing it here. Because one day somebody will hand you an official license plate to park there. And it won't be funny anymore. Everything you do in life is coming back to you. You see, I get high. I don't know what the big deal about getting high is. Except I get high when they shoot me from 0 to 140 miles an hour in 2.3 seconds off the front end of an aircraft carrier. Boom! I'm overdosing. I get high. You got to get high. Anybody tells you not to get high, they lying to you. You got to get high. But if you use drugs, you're going to die. Why do you think they call it dope? Dope. But you got to get high. You want to get high? I'll be your pusher, man. You want to get high? You take your butt to med school. You become a doctor. You save somebody's life. You watch the gleam of life pass through their eyes. They say thank you. You say thank you. They hand you a check for $65,000. And homeboy, you are toasted. You have to get high. Getting high is what life is all about. But if you use drugs, you're going to die. Why do you think they call it dope? Dope. Let me ask you this. You know what they call drugs? They call drugs a controlled substance. Do you know why? Because it controls you. How can you let a rock of cocaine this big make you lie to your mother? How can you let a joint of marijuana this big make you lie to yourself? And you're the only one you'll ever wake up with for the rest of your life. You want to get deep about it? How are you going to let some alcohol, some cocaine, or some marijuana make you lie to God? Why do you think they call it dope? Dope. But you know what the trip is? The trip about drugs is you're going to stop. If any of you are drugging right now, you're going to stop. I don't even know what the big deal is. Either you stop now when I tell you to stop, or you stop when they send your butt to jail and they got them big dudes in jail with hair growing out their ears and up their neck. And when they tell you to come here, they don't want to dance. Or you can go stop when you go crying to your mother, your father, your doctor, your lawyer, your rabbi, your priest, your teacher. Oh, please, 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 miss, help me get off this stuff. I'm killing myself. I'm not going to make it. Please. Or you could just stop like this. Everybody, please close your eyes. Even the cool ones. Don't worry, I'm not going to hit you. Close your eyes, please. Or you can just stop like this. This will be the last time you ever hear this sound the rest of your life. That's the sound it makes when they close your coffin. That's the exact sound it makes when they close your casket. All of you are going to stop using drugs. Either you stop now when I tell you, or you stop when that sound is made around you. But the next time that sound is made around you, you'll be on the inside and you won't be looking out. Why do you think they call it dope? Dope. You can wake up, you didn't die. Let me ask y'all something. What's the only cell in your body that doesn't reproduce itself? Brain cell, isn't it? Your brain cell is the only cell in your body that doesn't reproduce itself. How could you be so stupid to put something in your body that's going to destroy something that's never coming back? And the only thing that makes each and every one of you different in here is your brain. How could you put something in your body that's going to make you stupid? You think I'm lying to you? Talk to somebody just smoked a joint. You talk to them, you be straight. Yo, what's happening, my man? What? Yeah, man, the real cool smooth grooves don't see boys today. You don't think it makes you stupid? Talk to somebody just hit the pipe. Talk to somebody just snorted some cocaine. Talk to them. Hey, how you doing today? I don't know what I'm doing. Just want another hit, 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 another hit. Crash. You don't think that's stupid? All right, girls, I'm talking to you now. I see you out there. You got your hair all pretty, got different colors in it. Look like the rainbow out there. Starting to make up your face, wear your little earrings. You starting to go on dates with these guys. Well, girls, I want to tell you something. You're going to start going on dates with these guys. It's going to take you 2 hours to get all pretty. The guy's going to come pick you up for your date, and he's going to knock on your door. But before he got to the date, before he got to your door, he was drinking that malt liquor. He was drinking that beer. He done stole some scotch, some wine, some vodka, some gin out of his daddy's liquor cabinet. And he's gonna knock on your door like this. You're gonna open up the door with your pretty face. This dude's gonna be standing in front of you. He's starting to spit all over your shoes. He got that white, nasty Elmer's glue stuff all around his lips. And he looks in your pretty face and he tells you like this. Baby, I love you. Well, girls, I want you to understand something. If you sit there and drink that poison with these guys, if you drink that garbage with these guys, I want you to understand this. You're going to have some fool standing in front of you. You have spit on your shoes. He's got cornflakes in his eyes. He's got glue around his mouth. And he's talking to you with that funky Spuds MacKenzie breath. And you know what you're going to look in this boy's face and tell him? Baby, I love you too. Why do you think they call it dope? Dope. But the biggest trip about drugs is that you pay for it. You actually pay money out of your pocket or your pocketbook to pay for something that kills you. You actually pay money to kill yourself. I got a better idea for you. Give me $20, I'll come kick your butt and give you a rebate. Why do you think they call it dope? And I hope you weren't talking about yourselves. You know where I come from? I come from Harlem, New York. I come from the projects in New York City. I hope you don't think you have it bad here in Michigan. Let me tell you something. The rats in my high school were so big, the cats used to carry machine guns. I come from the streets of New York. And in New York, you know what we used to play? We used to play this little game called 52. And you know what 52 meant? 52 simply meant that whether you play basketball, football, baseball, no matter what game you played, we put 52 on you. And 52 just meant that if you quit that game before it was over, everybody punched you 52 times in the chest. Well, you see, I learned from a very little boy, I don't quit anything. Why do you think I'm a pilot? Why do you think I'm a pilot? You think my mother and father had a little airplane in the back of the projects and used to tell me, come on up for a little spin today, son? Why do you think I'm a pilot? I'm a pilot because I have something up here that each and every one of you have. It's called your common sense computer. All of you have it. All of you use it every day. Well, see, I went to Southern University in New Orleans. And you know what? I'm forcing you to have the best 4 years of your life. How many of you in here like to party? Well, where do you think the biggest parties in the country are at? In college, at Michigan State, at Southern University, at Grambling, at the University of Michigan, UCLA. They party hard. You see, I don't want to stop you from cabbage patching. I just want to change your partners from drug addicts, prostitutes, and alcoholics to teachers, doctors, and engineers. I don't want to stop you from dancing. I'm just trying to change your dance partners. So anyway, when I finished Southern University, I still didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. But I had this little computer. So I plugged in my computer like this.
I want to make a lot of money. But I don't want to work real hard. Don't look at me funny. You've run that through your terminals a couple of times. It's the same computer that you have that goes like this. I want the A. I don't want to study. Same computer. So I put in a lot of money, little work. Bloop, light came on. You know what that light said? Sell drugs. A big light came on after it. You know what that light said? Jail. I don't know about you, but Drew Brown's not dancing with any fool got hair growing out his ears and up their neck. They will never take my freedom away from me again, ever. You see, God gave each and every one of you one thing, and that's to know the difference between right and wrong, and all of you know that. So if your computer gives you something wrong, keep using it. It's not broke. I did. A lot of money, little work. A little tiny light started to flash. A little teeny tiny light. Do you know what that light said? Airline pilot. Airline pilot. Airline pilot? What's an airline pilot? I've never seen no airline pilots in the projects. Well, I went to college, so I was smart enough to look it up. Any of you know what an airline pilot is? An airline pilot makes $175,000 a year working half the month flying to Honolulu. Guess what I said? I want to be an airline pilot. 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 Dude tapped me on my shoulder and said, yo, Drew. I said, what? He said, Drew, you don't know how to fly. I said, oh, yeah, that's right. But I had this computer. So I typed in, don't know how to fly, have no money, want to learn. Bloop. Light came on. It said, join the military. I said, cool, I'll go join the military. So the first place I went to was the Air Force, right? Air Force airplanes, Air Force airplanes. But you see, I told you I come from New York City and I have to look good. And I noticed when I walked in the Air Force office, all their uniforms, them dudes look like a bunch of Greyhound bus drivers. I went over to the Army and Marines, them boys look like G.I. Joe. I went down by the Navy and I saw pretty blue flight suits, gold wings, white uniforms, and that's how I made up my mind. I said, anchors away, here I come. So I joined the United States Navy. Now don't you dare forget this. The day that I joined the Navy, I've never been inside of an airplane cockpit before in my life, ever. I knew nothing about flying airplanes. I hardly even know how to spell aerodynamics. But when I got in the Navy, I worked hard. I worked hard, 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 I worked hard. And all of a sudden, that first day came. Drew Brown was gonna fly an airplane. I was all excited. It was a propeller plane. I sat in the front seat. My instructor sat in the back. I got in that cockpit. I started hooking up my harness and Hey, wait, hold up. What's all these knobs and buttons doing here? Switches and gauges. I don't know if I can do this. Well, my instructor in the back seat started up that airplane. Do you remember when I walked in here telling you I was bad? Punks, Crips, Bloods, Mike Tyson, Michael Jackson. Remember that? Remember I told you I was bad? Let me tell you something. That instructor started up that airplane. Me, Mr. Superbad, sunglasses and all, went like this. Oh no! The instructor took the airplane and he brought it to the runway. He took off. He said, Drew, we're flying. I said, that's it. He said, what did you just say? I said, no kidding. He said, Drew, you stop fooling around right now. You grab the stick and you start flying this airplane. Come on, Drew, you can do it. Fly it. I said, okay. He said, Drew, what are you doing up there? I told you to start turning this airplane. Turn it. I said, okay. I was jamming that bad little boy. I thought I was Buck Rogers or somebody. I was flying my little airplane around. 3 months later, I said, hey, yo, you got any more knobs and buttons around here? He said, yes, we do, Drew. A jet. Nah, that's okay. You keep the jet. I keep the putt-putt machine. He said, no, Drew, I think you can fly a jet. Now, don't forget this. A jet has knobs and buttons for days. A jet goes 650 miles an hour. A jet has so many lights in it that if they ever all come up at the same time, you swear you're playing the Wheel of Fortune. I got in that jet, and what do you think I said? I don't know if I could do it. 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 6 months later, I said, hey, yo, does this jet go any faster? I now fly for Federal Express. Today, I'm an airline pilot. And the only reason I'm an airline pilot is because I never quit. You see, when you quit, you start hanging out with quitters. And when you start hanging out with quitters, you start growing up with quitters. And when you start growing up with quitters, one day you're going to marry a quitter. And you're going to have little babies running around your house called the Quintettes. I am no different than any one of you sitting in here other than I believed in myself and I never quit. You see, the problem is if you don't think you can be a Navy jet pilot, you can't. If you don't believe that you can be a doctor or a lawyer, you can't. If you don't believe in yourself, then nobody around you is going to believe in you. And if you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to make it. You have the ability, except you got to believe. You see, I'm going to apologize right now to you. I'm going to apologize to you. And I'm going to apologize to you for the garbage that these adults in this country have taught you. Because what I'm about to tell you right now, every single one of you used to know. Because when you were little babies, you used to know exactly what I'm about to tell you right now. Let's make believe there's a fire in this theater. A big, hot, smoking, flaming fire. Smoke, flames, heat. It's starting to get dark, and you're starting to get scared. You're starting to cough. It's starting to get hot. Fire! You're really starting to get nervous. You're starting to get scared. You're going to think you're going to die. And all of a sudden, a kid comes up here, one of your schoolmates. Cool dude, everybody likes him. A white guy. A white dude. Got a little bleach in his hair, a couple of gold chains around his neck, a little green up there, one of them wasn't real. White dude. And the white dude comes up here, he's a nice guy, and he goes like this. Come on, man, you know who I am? Come follow me, the exit's right over. The exit's right over. The exit's right over here. Here. Man, you know who I am? We're going to get burned up in here. We're going to die. Come on, the exit. Exit's over here. White kid. Then a little black kid comes down here. Short hair, thick glasses, about 15 pencils in his pocket. A nerd. A little black Urkel nerd. And the little black nerd goes like this. The oxygen level in this room is 0.74, 75 meters to the rear is an exit. If you all follow me within the next 16 seconds, your survivability rate goes up by 98%. Who do you think everyone sitting in this theater is going to follow? Because there is no black and white. There's only ignorance and intelligence. And when your butt gets scared enough, each and every one of you sitting in here will always and only follow intelligence. You see, there is no black and white. They have lied to you. You had to grow up to learn that garbage. Because if black and white was so important, blind people would be prejudiced. If black and white was so important, handicapped children would be prejudiced. If black and white was so darn important. Have you ever seen the mentally retarded children? The ones we sent to the Special Olympics? Well, guess what? Black and white has never crossed their mind once. So who in this country is really blind, handicapped, and mentally retarded? Because it's not those children. There is no black and white. There's ignorance and intelligence. And I told you, you all used to know that. Because when you were little babies, the only thing you ever wanted in your life was milk. And you didn't care what color it came from you. You see, they have lied to you, and I'm apologizing for them, because you have to grow up to have that garbage in your body. But you know, you want to get deep about it, we can do that. There has never been a book written with God's name in it, whether it was the Torah, the Old Testament, the New Testament, the Quran, the Hindu book, or the Buddhist book. Never has a book been written with God's name in it that ever said anything about black and white. It is a lie. There is no black and white. There's ignorance and intelligence. But you want to know something? When they taught you this garbage and they pumped this garbage in your minds, they didn't even tell you what prejudice was. Because most of you in here think prejudice has to do with the color of your skin. Well, you see, Hitler only killed white people, and Hitler was white. Idi Amin only killed black people, and Idi Amin was black. Saddam Hussein only killed Arabs, and Saddam Hussein was Arab. Well, if you want to know the real meaning of prejudice, it's a human trait. It has nothing to do with the color of your skin. Prejudice means you don't like yourself, and you have the need to put somebody else down in order to make them look good. You have to put somebody else down in order to make yourself look good, because the way they look, the way they act, or the way they feel, in order to make yourself look better. So if you got that garbage in your body, I'm going to tell you something right now. The truth is, when you look in the mirror, you don't like what you see. There's racism in this country. I told you I wouldn't come here and lie to you. There's racism in this country, but you want to know something? Racism is the best thing that ever happened to some of you. Because if you're a black male, or you're a woman, or you're an Asian, or you're a Hispanic, or you're white, and anybody ever tries to stop you from being a doctor because of the color of your skin or your sex, you need to tell them thank you. You know why? Because that's going to make you have to work twice as hard to be a doctor. And if you work twice as hard to be a doctor, you'll be twice the doctor of anybody else. You see, I don't want to hear your funky excuses no more that I'm black, or that I'm a woman, or that I'm white. Because if you don't make it in this country, it has nothing to do with your color. It's got something to do with your intelligence. I'm going to show you something. You ever heard people talking about fight the power? You ever heard that? Fight the power? You better stop fighting the power, and you better get some power. And the power is to determine your own destiny. You know what the power is? The power is to be what you want to be. The power and drugs and alcohol suck that very power out of your soul. Not one of you in here who are successful, you're not going to make it because of yourself. Remember when I told you, if you ever mess with your teachers, your life is over. Believe it. You know why? Because every one of your teachers who are good teachers, they are junkies, but they don't use drugs to get high. The reason they get high is off of you. So see, you have to pay them back. When you make it, you make sure you go back to your school, and you make sure you go back to those teachers and you get them high. And you know how you get them high? With 2 words. And that's thank you. God bless you, teachers. You see this flag right here? I'll come in here and say anything I want to any one of you. You ain't bad. I'll put my life on the line for every single one of you sitting in here. I was in Libya, I was in Beirut, and I almost died for each and every one of your butts sitting in them chairs. But I'm going to tell you something. When I was over there, I was scared to death. I had them bombs under my wings, and I was ready to go down for you. But I'm going to tell you this. I wasn't ready to die for no African Americans. And I wasn't ready to die for no white Americans. And I wasn't ready to die for no Asian or Hispanic Americans. I put my life on the line for 3 colors. And they were red, white, and blue. You see, this is America. This is the greatest country in the world, and not because you live here. This is the greatest country in the world because we have something in this country called freedom. And men and women died for the right for you to have freedom. So you're not only free to drop out of school, you're not only free to be a prostitute, an alcoholic, a dopehead, a crack fiend. Every single one of you kids in here are also free to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, an architect, a senator. And if you were born in this country, you are free to be president of the United States. You are in America now. And see, you don't know nothing about this country. And the truth is, when I was your age, I didn't know nothing about this country either. I didn't know nothing about this land until I went to another part of this world and I seen a mother break a baby's leg. And that mother broke its baby's leg because it'll be a cripple when it grew up and it would learn how to beg better. You see, you don't know nothing about this country until you see a whole neighborhood of people living in cardboard boxes. You really don't know nothing about this country until a little boy runs up to you from another land and says, Mister, give me one American penny, please. I gave that boy a penny. He said, thank you for feeding my family for a month. See, you don't know nothing about this country. You are free in this country, and freedom didn't come lightly. You want to know something? Standing here right in front of you, Martin Luther King died for this. John F. Kennedy was assassinated for this. Miss Rosa Parks didn't get off of her bus for this. You are looking at the American dream. I was the only black Navy jet attack pilot in the whole United States Navy in the fleet at one time. Me, one man out of 14,000 men. But you want to know something? It wasn't the Navy's fault. It was your fault. Because some of you back there don't think you can be Navy jet pilots. And some of you in here don't think you can be doctors and lawyers and engineers. Well, you don't have an excuse anymore. Because you heard the formula. It's called education plus hard work minus drugs equals success and the American dream. And if you don't make it now, my job is done. Because don't you ever say that you never heard it. Don't you ever say that you never heard that formula. If you don't make it in this country, it has nothing to do with the color of your skin. It has something to do with your pride and your intelligence. You see, if you don't know how to read, that's not my fault. That's your fault. You better go find one of these teachers and ask them for some help. If you have an alcohol or a drug problem, that's not my fault. That's your fault. You better go find one of these teachers for asking for help. If you are being abused at home, that is not your fault. You go find one of these teachers and you ask them for help, because the real definition of a man or a woman has nothing to do with the way you comb your hair or the sneakers you wear. If you're a real man or a real woman, that means you know your weaknesses and you're willing to do something about them. You see, 45 years ago, a black man couldn't do anything in the United States Navy but wash dishes and shine officers' shoes. 45 years ago, a black man couldn't do anything in the United States Navy but wash dishes and shine officers' shoes. And 45 years ago, my daddy joined the United States Navy. And 45 years ago, a white officer called my daddy a nigger. My father picked that man up and threw him over the side of the ship, and they were going to put my daddy in jail forever and ever and ever. But 45 years ago, they couldn't put my daddy in jail because 45 years ago, my daddy lied about his age. And my father was only 13 years old. He lied about his age in order for him to go to the Navy. The day that I got these wings, which you now look upon my chest, which makes me the top 1%, out of the top 1%, out of the top 1% of this entire country. The day that I got my wings, I asked my daddy to come see and put them on me. But my daddy told me no. My daddy told me no because he was so proud of his son. He thought that they would look up that story and they wouldn't let his boy have the wings of gold. But that day, my daddy sent me a telegram. And that telegram said, I'd be proud to shine your shoes. You see, the man who's been speaking to you right now for the past 45 minutes hasn't been me. I'm too young to tell you the things I just told you. That was my daddy. My daddy was my greatest friend. My daddy was the best man I ever met in my life. My father was my favorite friend. And you see, 3 years ago, my father died. But before my father died, my daddy gave me the greatest gift a man or woman will ever receive in their life. Before my daddy died, I sat on his bed, and that night he told me, son, I'm proud of you, and I'm ready to die because I got a boy like you to carry on. Well, you see, that's the greatest gift a man or woman will ever receive in their life. You want to grow up so fast? Well, now you're going to have to grow up because all of your parents will die one day. But if you have them die before they look you in the eyes and say that they were proud of you, you have then missed out on the greatest gift a man or woman will ever receive in their life. You take this with you forever and ever and ever. You may not get what you want when you want it. You may not get what you want when you want it, but I promise you all one thing. God is never, ever late. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's really important that I now explain to you a couple of things that I said on the video. When I said that if you don't go to college, you're going to be a bum, I meant that. But I didn't mean a bum laying in the street, and I definitely wasn't talking about your parents. I was talking to you. A bum to me means that in 10 or 15 years, if you don't accomplish some of your potential and some of your goals because you didn't get an education, to me that makes you a bum. Because all of you out there have the ability to be something and the ability to do something good with your life. I wasn't talking about your parents, but I was talking about you. If you don't go to college, you're going to be a bum. We're going to talk about something that's very, very important, and especially in this day and age, and that's sex. And I'm going to probably tell you something that teachers are not allowed to tell you in the way I'm going to say it. You young ladies out there, if you're having sex with these boys at this age, they don't respect you. And the only thing you girls out there have to carry with you forever is your own self-respect. And if you're having sex at a young age, the men that you're having sex with don't respect you at all. You guys out there, if you're having sex with these girls at a young age, you're playing with a game that you can't win. And that's God's game. Because now you are putting yourself in the line of responsibility of taking care of another human being for the rest of its life. If you don't plan on taking care of the child that you bear, you remember this, that child will come back and see you one day, and he'll knock on your door, and you'll feel like the smallest piece of dirt that ever walked this earth. You're playing with a game that you can't win. I'm a very rich man. I'm a very rich man, but it has nothing to do with this gold on my hands. I'm a very rich man because I have a beautiful wife, Laurie, and two beautiful children, Taryn and Drew Jacques. And the love I have for them and the love they have for me, you can never take from me. You see, to be truly rich is to have something that nobody can take from you. And they can never take away my mind, which is my education. And they can never take away my soul, which is my family. All of you remember this. I don't mean it bad when I say you listen to me now, you listen to me later. But not one of you were put on this earth to be dropouts, drug addicts, junkies, dope heads, prostitutes, alcoholics, criminals, or dead. Not one of you. The only reason you were put on this earth was to be a little bit better than your parents and to make this world a little better place for your children. God bless all of you. And you remember, education plus hard work minus drugs does equal the American dream. Now it's up to you.